It does nothing to move the emotions forward, and it basically was 3 minutes of information we already super knew about her character, but they decided to tell us straight up instead of just showing us through her characterization. Hello and welcome back to the Cozy Film Corner, or welcome if you're new. For those of you who don't know, my name is Maddie and I love to talk about film. Here on this channel, I like to take existing pieces of media and chat through what they would look like if they were adapted into something new. Or I review adaptations against their original source material. You already know from the title, but today we'll be talking through a live action adaptation of Disney's Princess and the Frog. I adore this film and I know it's a Disney fan favorite. So I am so excited to talk about what this will look like as a live action. But before we get started, make sure to like and subscribe, as well as hit that notification button to be notified every time I post a new video. And without further ado, get cozy, grab a nice hot drink, maybe your favorite snack, and let's get into The Princess and the Frog. We will be starting off the cast with Tiana, obviously. So my casting for Tiana is the lovely Coco Jones. Was I influenced by the fact that she dressed up as Tiana for Halloween? Yes, I absolutely was. However, I think that she would be an incredible candidate for this role regardless. She's been an incredible vocalist since she was on the Disney Channel, but her talent and her voice has just matured along with her career. I think that having her return in a role like this, being able to bring that beautiful earthy tone into Tiana's stubbornness and her resilience, I think will make the character just blossom on screen, and I truly do believe that Coco is the best candidate for that. I also think that Coco Jones has the ability to nail Tiana's dry comedic delivery, really hitting those beats without losing the character's kindness and empathy. All in all, I think Coco is an incredible candidate for Tiana. And playing opposite her, I think that her Naveen should be played by Regé-Jean Page. So we've seen his performance as the Duke in Bridgerton. He can play that like suave, flirtatious, yet arrogant male love interest. He does it so well. And I feel that that delivery and that portrayal that we have seen him successfully do previously matches Naveen's characterization so well. And I am completely in this boat, by the way. Naveen is so many people's like favorite Disney prince. And I completely understand how important this casting is. I truly think that he can do a fantastic job at this. And also, which is something I didn't know until recently, Regé-Jean Page can sing. I listened to a video of him singing in Greek. His vocals are so like buttery. I believe it'll translate really well to those songs like When We're Human. And when I get into the music portion of this, we can talk about his vocals a little bit more and Naveen's singing in the film as well, because I do think that there is an opportunity to really expand upon that in this film, give Naveen a bit more opportunities for the musicality of this film. But regardless, I think that Regé-Jean Page would be such a great Naveen. Moving on to our main villain, the icon himself, Dr. Facilier, one of my favorite Disney villains, and truly I could not think of a different person for this. The only person who came to mind for this role as a live action was Anthony Mackie. I think that Anthony Mackie brings such a suave comedic energy to so many of his roles, and I would love to see him take that charm and make it a little bit sinister. I think that that would be such an interesting dichotomy to see on screen, and I think he's fully capable of that. I think it'd be such a stunning performance. Additionally, and I know that there are a few people who are really worried about the vocals and the singing for a song that is as iconic as Friends on the Other Side, but Anthony Mackie is a great singer. He's a Juilliard graduate. I think that he will be able to bring such a unique vocalization and musicality to that villain song without it detracting from how much people love the original. I think that it will become its own version instead of just being a repeat of someone trying to replicate the source material. I think he'll do such a great job. I think he'll really make it his own, and I personally would be so excited to see what he would be able to bring to a villainous role like that. I think it'd be awesome. Next up is Louis the Alligator, one of the fun comedic reliefs of this film. I wanted to find someone who would carry Louis's vocals, particularly when it comes to that very rich baritone sound, while also being able to bring that comedy into both the musicality and into the dialogue and delivery. And for this, my casting for Louis is Brian Tyree Henry. You might know him from films like Bullet Train or shows like Atlanta. I love him. I think that he is so funny. I think that he's got such a mellow character to his voice that it's so kind of kind and empathetic. And that's such a big part of Lewis's personality, is that he's so gentle, he's so kind, but he is still fun and upbeat. And I think that Brian Tyree Henry's voice fits that characterization so well. Additionally, I also think that Henry has the ability to bring this very soulful texture to his singing. In addition to being able to hit those comedic beats in dialogue, having that low baritone while also being able to hit those comedic beats in the songs itself is a really important part of Lewis's characterization. And I just think that that combo, he's got it down. I think that he will bring this character to life in such a fun and creative way. For this next one, I need everyone to please just hear me out. I think that Ray should be voiced by T-Pain. And that is not just a celebrity casting for the sake of celebrity casting, although I think it would be hilarious. I genuinely think T-Pain can do the accent. I think that with the resources that Disney has, a dialect coach is not a huge ask for them. It definitely wasn't a big ask for Sebastian and the Little Mermaid live action, so I think they can do it. I think they can provide that coach. But I also think there's a really great potential because T-Pain is so funny. He's genuinely hilarious, and I think that putting him in a comedic role like Ray that still is so integral to the emotional beats of the film, I think that he would knock it out of the park. I think that it would be so genuinely captivating. And so it's when I say I want T-Pain in a Disney movie, it genuinely sounds like a joke. And it kind of started as one when I was brainstorming this with one of my friends, but I'm so serious when I say that I would actually love to see that. Additionally, I think that there is amazing potential for a post-credit song. And for people who are fans of Princess and the Frog, I know that saying that I'm going to touch the end credits song is a lot, because Never Knew I Needed by Neo is amazing. However, I think it could be really cool to do a more modern version of Ray's song, Ma Belle Evangeline, or a more modern version of Glowing Down the Bayou in T-Pain style, as if it were a T-Pain song. I think that that could be really cool for an end credit because it's a reutilization. It's very similar to what Disney has done before. You have songs like Reflection by Christina Aguilera at the end of Mulan. You have different versions of A Friend Like Me, like in the live action Aladdin. They let Will Smith do his own version of the song his character sings. I think it's a really cool way to kind of tie the character and the story to the actor and their portrayal. I think it'd be really cool. I think especially if it was something like Ma Belle Evangeline, it'd be really pretty. Because T-Pain, beautiful voice. Such a beautiful voice. And just opportunities to let him shine, because I want that on my playlist. I want that on my phone that I can download and have forever. So yeah, T-Pain as Ray. It makes sense to me. Feel free to argue with me in the comments. I love reading them anyways. If you have a different Ray, also super excited to see it, so please let me know. Next up is Mama Odie. My philosophy for this character is the same as my philosophy was for Phil and Danny DeVito. If it's not broke, don't fix it. So I think they should just bring back Jennifer Lewis. Jennifer Lewis honestly looks like Mama Odie, just taller. So I think this would be a really great opportunity for her to reprise this role in a live action. I think it's so cool because she was able to kind of physically embody the character in the booth. If you guys don't know this, it's a very fun movie fact for me. When Jennifer Lewis was trying to find Mama Odie's voice, she was given kind of the concept art of the character, but she was really trying to dig in and find what does she sound like, how does she move, and doing that in the booth. And she ended up at some point just kind of sucking in her teeth and started singing and talking and stuff like that, and she really got into it. And so the physicality of Mama Odie is what she used to create the voice. So she can already do it live action. And I think it'd be so, so cool to be able to get her to come back for this role. I think she did such an incredible job with the voice acting. Mama Odie is such a hilarious and sweet and beautiful character that I would love for Jennifer Lewis to be able to come back and portray her again. And lastly, a duo that I think has so much potential in a live action is Charlotte and Lewis. So for Charlotte, after watching Schmigadoon and being a fan for her for so long, I can't not cast Dove Cameron. She's perfect for this role. I mean, from the look, the comedic delivery, the vocals, the physical comedy, I adore her. I think she would do such a great job in this film. I think it would be awesome to have the two Disney girlies return back to their roots, showcase how much they've grown as performers. And playing opposite her, I was thinking that Lawrence, who is Naveen's butler, should be played by Nathan Lane. Many people know him from Only Murders in the Building or from Modern Family. Us musical theater kids know that that is a Broadway legend. He was the original Gomez in The Addams Family. He was in The Producer. He's the original voice of Timon in the animated Lion King. Love this man. Such an incredible performer. Amazing comedy, amazing vocals, amazing acting. Would love to have him in this role because I think that there is a depth to Lawrence that he would bring that we weren't offered that insight into in the original animated film. I think that the two of them, Dove Cameron and Nathan Lane, would also comedically play off of each other incredibly. I think that's such a dynamic duo, and I would love to see that in live action. For this next section, I want to talk about the soundtrack for the film, because I know that in the original film, that soundtrack hit after hit after hit. And Disney, it's this fun little thing of adding original songs into all of their live action adaptations. So here are just a few ideas I have to make sure that those songs are on par with the absolute bangers from the source material, while also serving as tools to expand upon the story, to add a bit more depth to some of these characters, especially because live actions are a bit longer than the animated films. So we have the opportunity to expand upon the story and this narrative in a medium such as a live action. First off, I would love a reprise of Ma Belle Evangeline sung by Naveen. I think that it would be a really great way to kind of allow him to have that emotional vulnerability of really like feeling insecure, feeling uncertain about his feelings, and arriving at that realization that we see him have in the original film when he is talking to Evangeline the star. Because in that scene, he is speaking directly to Evangeline, kind of seeking her guidance, and I feel it would be a really beautiful moment for him to reprise Ray's song, but kind of switching up the lyrics a little bit in the chorus, where instead of saying Ma Belle Evangeline, it would be Tiana, my Evangeline, which also would tie it back into the line at the very end of the film when he is telling Charlotte that he'll do anything as long as Tiana gets the money for her restaurant, because she's my Evangeline. I love a motif. And so I think it'd be really cute. I think it'd be really fun. I think it would give Naveen a bit more of a moment to shine. It would give Regé-Jean Page that opportunity to continue to show off his vocals and his musicality. I think it would be a really great emotional beat. And I feel that it fits really well in the film. Because one thing I have appreciated about recent Disney live actions is the open vulnerability and emotion we have gotten to see from male love interests, kind of allowing audiences to get to know these characters a bit better and to expand upon that narrative. So we had Uncharted Waters from Eric in the live action Little Mermaid. You have Evermore, which is such an amazing addition to the Beauty and the Beast soundtrack. I love that song. I love the emotion that it brings to Beast's character. I think that Naveen is such an interesting character, and I would love to be able to see him kind of tap into that emotional state a bit more, especially as it pertains to musical theater and delivering exposition or insight through song. All right, next song. I really want a comedic duet between Charlotte and Lawrence. And I need you to just hold on with me for a second. In the scene where they are like having lunch at that gazebo and Lawrence, when he's disguised as Naveen, is like trying to propose, I think an upbeat duet would be so perfect right there. I think it'd be a really great little dance number. I think it'd be really fun. It would be a nice kind of like break in the tension in the film. And I also think it would offer some really great insight into both of these characters. So in Friends on the Other Side, it's revealed that Lawrence was kind of pushed around by his family members, and it even has the line, if you were married, you'd be pushed around by your wife. So him disguised as Naveen, what about him wants to be married to Charlotte? Is it like just the money? Is it the desire to be loved and to be accepted by a partner, to be seen as an equal in a relationship? I would love to get a bit more insight into that characterization, just to really get to understand those motives a bit more. Because I feel like when he is introduced and talking about the reasons why he is going against Naveen, it's very straightforward. He is jealous and he is selfish. And I'd love to get a little bit deeper and a bit more complex with that character and those motivations. Similarly, on Charlotte's part, I wonder if a live action version of this character would be as superficial as the animated version. And please do not get me wrong, she is such a wonderful character. She's so funny, she's such a great friend, but she does have that materialistic, very kind of like social climbing type personality. She wants to marry a prince. It doesn't really matter who, she just wants to be a princess. And I wonder if through this duet, there is an opportunity to let the audience into a bit more insight into her characters, to offer her, via a very comedic and upbeat delivery, a bit of vulnerability, a bit of understanding from the audience as to why she wants that kind of life. Is it because she truly just wants a fairy tale because she's loved those stories so much? Or is she grappling with the idea of, am I actually doing this for love? What is love? Is it being happy and just finding a person who makes you happy, or is it finding a life that makes you happy? Or are those the same thing? I do wonder if through this duet there's an opportunity to allow the audience to see how Charlotte views love. Because I think that in the original source material, we don't really hear a lot about her being in love with Naveen. She's just excited to be married to a prince. But she's so understanding of Tiana when her friend finds love. So she obviously holds it in a high regard. So I'd love to be able to tap into her psyche a little bit and get some more insight into why she's going through with this marriage, what she really wants from it. For the music that I'm suggesting, the kind of songs that I'm suggesting, the additions to the soundtrack, I'm working around the kinds of themes that I think would fit really well into the story without having to be these like overly saturated pop style earworms just for the sake of adding something new to the soundtrack. This is one of my, I think, biggest critiques of recent Disney music, is that it has kind of been popified and it's looking for that social media replayability, that earworm kind of addictiveness. On that note, any addition to the source material, specifically when it comes to the soundtrack, has to be an enhancement and serve the narrative in some way. So you can't just have a song go in there just for the sake of, well, this character hasn't sung in a while, and that is one of my biggest issues with Speechless from the live action Aladdin. I have nothing against Naomi Scott. I think she is an incredible actress. I think she has a wonderful voice. That song doesn't make sense in that film. It does nothing to move the plot forward. It does nothing to move the emotions forward. And it basically was 3 minutes of information we already super knew about her character, but they decided to tell us straight up instead of just showing us through her characterization. It's not a bad song. It doesn't make sense in that film. So you have to find a way to make sure that you are at least offering some sort of enhancement and relevant, aligned addition if you are going to add something new to the source material. And I do think you should add new things to the source material. I think that is the point of adaptation. Doing a one-to-one replication is not interesting. It's not fun. It's not exciting. It doesn't excite me to go to the movies or to watch it on a streaming platform or whatever and watch something that I already saw word for word, frame by frame, 10 years ago. And if people didn't like it, they have the original. You didn't ruin it. That version still exists. That's just my 2 cents when it comes to live action adaptations. I have one coming up that's going to make people very angry. So if you like Disney, stay tuned because I'm going to make some people angry. That's going to be super fun because I'm going to be here and I'm not going to make comments. Anywho, those are my thoughts and dreams for a live action adaptation of The Princess and the Frog. Please let me know down in the comments if you agree with some of my takes, and if you don't agree, happy to hear what you're thinking. Would love to hear all y'all's opinions. What I would like you guys to keep in mind is that while I do love an open discourse, I love seeing people chat back and forth, this is a very kind and respectful space. I do not tolerate any bullying, I do not tolerate any harassment, and I do not tolerate any just overall rudeness and bigotry. If I see that, you're gone. I'm sorry, no excuse, you're gone. So please just remain kind and respectful in the comment section should you choose to comment. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one. If anyone has made it this far and would like to offer me tea recommendations, I'm running low on this one, which is Elderberry and Echinacea by Puka. Not sponsored. Very good nighttime tea because it's only 8 o'clock.